We have a series of 3 pictures here that are neat, and that's what the original building looked like. And later, the room where we go next was added on, so you had 2 separate residents that shared a wall. And up until the 30s, this is how it appeared. This is a typical width of an inside wall. This wall is 2 foot thick, because this was the outside wall originally, and when they punched through to connect the 2 sides together, it leaves this wide doorway. During the 1930s, there was a 3-year renovation, and you can see the 1930 compressor, and part of the renovation was to turn this door into a window. The third picture is how the building appears today, and to just drive by or walk by to the casual observer, it looked like it was all built at one time. Above the fireplace is Dr. Alexander Stewart. His son, in his doctor's office, was just right up the street here on West King Street. And his son, George Stewart, built his home in Shippensburg. And George Stewart's home is a beautiful brick building that's now the public library. And George had a son, Alexander, who also became a doctor, Dr. Alexander Stewart. In the 1920s, he came back to Shippensburg from medical school, and he rented this room for his office. And that's when they had the 2 doors in the front. People come in the door. One side of the room was a waiting room. The back part of the room is where he treated his patients. And then Dr. Alexander Stewart bought the building, and he's the one that did the renovation in the 30s. And he built on everything on the back part of the building. He added that on. Now we rotate our displays in here. Right now we have a Colonel James Byrd display, and this will be up for about 1 more week, and we'll be taking it down, and we'll put up our Civil War display, which is going to feature Civil War letters, and that'll open April 6th. Over here in the corner we have a timeline. Colonel James Byrd, and a couple of features. In the spring of 1752, he and his wife moved to Shippensburg, and they stayed here until 1756 when he moved to Lancaster. So they were here 4 years, and during the time he was here, he handled the affairs here for Edward Shippen, who lived in Lancaster. And we have quite a bit of memorabilia from James Byrd in the different cases here. And this was known as his camp bed. It actually comes apart, and he put the pieces on the wagon, and he'd take it on the road with him. And here we have a letter from Edward Shippen to James Byrd, and that's what the original letter looked like, and there it's printed out. And he talks about different things in Shippensburg building a mill. But when he signed off, he has, "I am with love to yourselves and your ducky children, your loving father, Edward Shippen." And that is James Byrd Brewster. He's a descendant of James Byrd, and all the items here belong to them. And they contacted us and asked us if we'd like to display these things, and they're from Maryland, so we really appreciate them doing that.